Very good evening. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We'll continue from chapter 7, the Yoga of Jnana, knowledge of Nirguna Brahma, and Vijnana, knowledge of manifest divinity. And we will be learning about the question of worship of other gods as taught by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. So we have finished till chapter 7 verse 20. Now we will begin from chapter 7 verse 21 onwards. Whatever celestial form a devotee craving for some worldly object chooses to worship with reverence, I stabilize the faith of that particular devotee in that very form. See, in the last verse, Lord Shri Krishna was talking about, how those people whose wisdom has been carried away by various desires, they will be prompted by their own nature to worship other deities, adopting norms relating to each. So in continuation to that, Lord is teaching here how, how they go deep in this form of different worships of other deities and how they follow the ritualistic life because they want to fulfill their desires. And then what happens to them, that is what Lord is going to teach Arjuna. So let us understand in detail and try to avoid not getting into these kind of bondages in our world. Whatever celestial form a devotee craving for some worldly desires. See, at the end of the day, we are all going to God not because we say, God, we love you. We've just come to say thank you, or we just want to, be in your presence, or we just want to ask how you are doing. Nobody goes with that intention except for the greatest of the devotees of the Lord, or the great masters themselves, the gurus, who are none other than the representatives, the manifestations of the divinity themselves. Only these people go just to, make their presence, just to say thank you, or re-establish that purity in that holy shrine. Nothing more than that. But every other human being goes to these places of worship only because they want their desires to be fulfilled. They are going with the ask. They have something they want. That is why people go to the place of worship. So what is he saying? Whatever celestial form a devotee craving for some worldly object. That is craving for some worldly object, which means it's all about desire. Job, money, wife, husband, children, education, you name it. I want to go abroad, I need my visa. There are so many things we go and ask the Lord. Even the stupidest of the things we will go ask. That is how human we are. Chooses to worship with reverence. Chooses to worship with reverence. Why? Because God, please fulfill my desire. I want to go abroad. I want my visa to get approved. I have got a job. I want to go there. I want to make money. But the moment your job is, the visa gets approved, you get the job, then you forget God. God doesn't exist in your world. Yeah, you'll promise, when my first salary comes, I will offer you a box of sweets. Yeah, you know what? You want the God to sanction you $500,000 or, whatever that your demand might be. But you will only offer the God just a box of sweets, which might be just $10. $500,000 equals $10. This is how petty a human beings are. And what happens then? The greed increases. Now from $500,000, you say I will need 1 million, then 2 million. The demand goes on. There is no limit to the cravings. It's insatiable desires. And finally, there comes a point when, the person has gone to complete ruins. You don't know what life is all about. Sometimes we end up taking wrong steps, following the unrighteous path, and then we fall prey into our karmic loop. That is the cycle of birth and death. Why? Because we have not followed the righteous path at all. We are not living the dharma as taught by Lord Sri Krishna. Please remember, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He's not anything lesser. He's the ultimate. So every other god that you worship, it's the small god, are nothing but deities. They are all. So they all are even reporting to the supreme personality of Godhead, that is Lord Sri Krishna. And if you don't follow the framework or what he has taught or laid down, the path of righteousness or dharma, then you are going to be in trouble for sure, whether you like it or not. See, the problem with a human being is they don't want to listen. Even if they have knowledge, they don't want to apply that knowledge. You know why? I don't want to, because I don't feel like it. We live in our mind. Our mind rules us more than we control our mind. It's not we who control the mind controls us. So where is the question of you following the righteous path in such cases? It's in such times. It's never going to happen. And I'll give you a very interesting example. I've seen in the last a year, during the pandemic, the inertia has it's penetrated literally everyone. So we have become comfortable in the way we are living now, working from home, then we don't have to go out. We have sitting at home and ordering our groceries to everything, medicine, you name it. We're doing all our shopping online. Everything is coming to our doorstep. We're not making an effort to go out. We have lost the practice of going to grocery stores, supermarkets, or even, shopping for some things. We have now become so comfortable shopping online. Even food, sometimes you don't feel like cooking. Most of the times now people don't feel like cooking. They just order online. So what has that made you into? It has made you into a very tamasic, which is a person who's become extremely lazy, inertia and lethargy. This is what has filled in. Now for people to go out, they become very tired. They just will go out for some time and they feel exhausted. Earlier in those days, it's not way too far off. We're going from morning till evening. We're going out, we're doing things. A man is full in action. He's active, wakes up in the morning, This is a very beautiful way of living life. Now that has been completely disrupted thanks to pandemic. And also because we are in the Kali Yuga. Kali has full-fledged taken over. She's fully in action. So what does that tell you? That if you don't put your self-effort in, redeeming yourself, evolving and following a path, you're going to be, going into regression of your life. You're going down and down and down. You're going to fall. You fall down. You completely. Whatever that excitement you had, that initiative spirit that you had is completely gone out of the window. Even our ability to think forward, the forward thinking doesn't happen at all. So I was telling the other day to my Guruji, we were discussing one of the most important skill is problem solving ability. And that is missing from our world. The moment some problem comes, we're all afraid. We can't face life. We can't face situations. Why? Because simply we don't want to face. The word is, I don't want to do. Here Lord Sri Krishna is saying, Arjuna, lift your bow and arrow and shoot. And what is Arjuna saying? No, I can't. I will kill someone. I will get into, I will incur sins. I can't do this. I don't know how to do. He's become confused and he's asking these questions so that he can get out of that state. So Lord Sri Krishna has been very kind enough to teach Arjuna. Now we are in chapter 7 and we have half more, total 18 chapters. So the last chapter is a summarization of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Of all the 17 chapters. Now, imagine we still have a long way to go, 11 more chapters. Only then Arjuna says, okay, fine, now I am clear. I'm ready to fight the war. And then he goes and fights the war. But imagine 18 chapters. Why? Like I keep telling this to you all in every satsang, that our Bhagavad Gita is finished in chapter 2 itself. In chapter 2, the Lord has explained entire Bhagavad Gita. But we don't understand. Why? Because our mind doesn't allow us to understand. We fall prey to our mind. So the mind makes you inert. It's lazy. It says, oh, you don't feel like doing it. It's okay, I can sleep some more time. We give excuses, reasons after reason. And I was listening to someone tell, I was telling them the most important purpose today, the most important thing today is to find a purpose in life. See, if you don't have a purpose in life, then what is the life that you're living? You're living just for yourself and your family, your near and dear ones. Is that life all about? What is your real purpose? So the person just was telling me, no, what is the purpose? There's no, forget about going after the purpose. I just have to do the right things with the job that God has given me. Yes, that is true. But why is that being said? That is because people are incapable today to go do more than that. To do more than that, you need that energy. You need to be very active. You need to be dynamic. You need to have that inspiration to go do something. Today, people are absolutely demotivated. They don't even have that little bit of, inspiration within themselves. They're so demotivated. They're not at all inspired by anything. So what happens to such people? They are living a very mundane life. See, I feel very sorry. Forget about you living that mundane life. What is the influence you're going to have on your children? That's a question you have to ask yourself. The influence that you will have is, my dad said I just can be very average. He's not telling you to be average, but because you're already setting an example of being below average individual. So you think your children are going to go beyond that? That's a sad thing. The children follow the footsteps of the parents because they are only now, more so because of pandemic, you're only living with your parents. See, that's why in our scriptures, we are told to keep the company of the holy, the sages and the saints. You know why? So that we'll also become like them. So what is happening? If you as a parent today do not show that enthusiasm, drive, motivation, anything, your children are also going to get affected and influenced. So what kind of a future generation are you creating? So you're yourself a bad influence on yourself, plus you're affecting the people around you. So never do that. It was very strange. I was talking to an 8-year-old child and I was telling her, I asked you to do this last time. Why haven't you done? Her answer was a little shocker to me. And I was surprised I'm not surprised because this is Kali Yuga. The child told me that, Ma, I'm so busy. Even on Saturday and Sundays, I have homework to do. But I was telling, Saturdays and Sundays are not meant for homework. It's a time where you have to invest in yourself for your own personality development. You have to do other things, of course. You have to study, but keep your studies Monday to Friday. But Saturday and Sunday, you have to do other things that's going to build you. Where is the time? I have so much of homework. Now, where does that I don't have time come from? This is because the children are listening to what the parents talk. So the parents are influencing. So what kind of influence are you creating on your child? Isn't that a bad influence? The child can never say that I don't have time, because there is time. And today children can do a lot of things. And if you're not going to drive them to do that, then how will you build them? What is going to be the future? The drive is not there because you yourself are not driven as a parent. This is the case today with most of them. So if you want your children's future to be taken care, please take care of yourself first. Start becoming motivated, drive yourself so that you can set a good example for your children. Don't become a bad influence on them. So I was amazed. And how does this happen? Because of tamas, that is inertia. It's pushing us into that zone. So we are reluctant to do anything, or we will waste our time. Procrastination, not wanting to do, getting into that mind state. Something happened to me, I don't feel like doing it. This is not what I want to do. Sometimes your mind says you like it, sometimes your mind says you don't like it. Then what happens? We are completely gone off the track. Now here, all this is because, why? What is the end thing is? Today we all want things on platter. So we don't want to go to temple because we care about God. We want to go to temple because we want things. Nothing more than that. So here also Lord Shri Krishna is teaching Arjuna that he's saying whatever celestial form a devotee is craving for, some craving for some worldly object, chooses to worship with reverence. I stabilize the faith of that particular devotee in that very form. So what is he doing? He stabilizes the faith of that particular devotee in that very form. So then you can't attain Lord Shri Krishna. Then you're always going to be bound because of that. You become adheen to that that deity. Here he's telling, Lord Shri Krishna says, I stabilize. Who is this I? Lord himself stabilizes the faith of that particular devotee in that very form, because he's not seeking the divine Lord. He's seeking some objects in life. That is why he's going to that particular deity. So let us continue. Endowed with such faith, he worships that particular deity and obtains through that deity, without doubt, his desired enjoyments as verily ordained by me. So what is he saying here? He's saying, endowed with such faith, he worships that particular deity. So this person is very clear. His single pointed devotion, his focus is that I want something. Okay, people go to Sai Baba. Why do everybody goes to Sai Baba? Sai Baba gives. Now, people believe in Sai Baba because Sai Baba is bestower of everything. Whatever you ask him, he is going to bestow you. So he's here, that's why exactly what Lord Shri Krishna is saying, endowed with such faith. So the Lord himself stabilizes your faith, whether it is Sai Baba or you pray Shivji or whoever that you think you want to pray, worship or pray. He stabilizes and establishes your faith in that deity. And then you get whatever the fruits that you demand, whatever your desires are going to be fulfilled. So he's saying, endowed with such faith, he worships that particular deity and obtains through that deity, without doubt, his desired enjoyments as verily ordained by me. Now, who is ordaining it? Ultimately, the one authority who approves it is the Lord Shri Krishna. But we are all going through via medium. Why? See, when he's going to get all these deities to give. The more you get, the more you go away from God. And how much more is enough is the question that we all have to ask. How much do you need? How many things do you want? What is that need? What is the need of the hour? See, the more you get, the more you go into that gutter. You know why? Because we create more karma. Our greed increases, and when you have that lust and greed is secondary, but the lust, I want more, it's lusting for objects, it's also lusting for other things in life. So when you keep lusting, the greed goes up. So the more the greed, it becomes insatiable, and your desires are endless. It's like a bottomless pit. There is no control button there, there's no stop button there, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. So where is the stop button then? And you have already gone to ruins. This is exactly what happens to human beings. But we don't realize this. We're always running after that fulfillment of this human, the crass human desires. Give up the desires. See, Lord Shri Krishna in the earlier chapters, he was telling, please give up desires. Till the time you're going to have desires, you're going to suffer. Desires are the root cause of all your miseries in life. And because of that desire, you end up performing wrong or unrighteous actions. You follow an unrighteous path. So don't do that. But that's something, it's a choice that you have. See, knowledge can be given, but the application of knowledge is extremely important. That is what I was driving home the point today. The reason why people are in the state of inertia is because they are not applying that knowledge. See, here Lord Shri Krishna is very clear with Arjuna that you are your own best friend and your own worst enemy. You have to lift yourself with your own self-effort. That means what? That if I don't put effort, having that knowledge, I need to apply that knowledge. Practically, I need to make an effort. But if I don't make that effort, whose fault is it? Is it God's fault? It is not his. You can't blame him. But we as human beings love to blame the divine Lord for all our misfortunes or for all our wrongdoings or wrong actions. And then what we'll see ultimately, we become a martyr. Oh, I am the bad person. All that comes up. So these characters are demonic propensities within a human being. So in chapter 16, we will be learning the divine endowments and demonic endowments. So how do we need to have the divine qualities is what Lord Shri Krishna is good. Not just what are the divine endowments. We're going to learn about that in detail. So let us understand here. So stop going to temples and begging for things. The more you beg, the more you fall. So don't ask. Please remember one thing. Whatever is in your destiny, you will anyways get it. Why bother? At the God's appointed timing, you will get what you have to get as per your prarabdha karma. Not a single penny more or single penny less. That is how it is. That's the reality of the nature. This morning, my Guruji had written a very beautiful update in Facebook. He says, we think that a person who has not put in effort in a company suddenly gets a $50 million, fund. And then we wonder, what is there in that product? And he has not even done anything. And how did he become famous? Is worthless. But people who are really working hard and have a product, they don't get the funding. So what does it all say to you? Or somebody who doesn't deserve gets a big position in a company, or somebody who doesn't deserve gets a seat in a college. We think that person is not deserving to get any of those. That person has not worked hard. Why are these kind of people getting? People who are not even worth it. But what we forget is that it is their karma. Because it is the karma, that is why they are getting it. So you don't have to feel jealous or feel upset about it. Please remember, you must have done something bad in your past. It's because of which in this life you're not privileged for it. You're not getting that. So why not make your future lives better by living a God-pleasing life, by following the path of righteousness, and then you will make your future lives better. That is something we don't realize, but we always keep comparing. Oh, look, that person got, I didn't get. I worked so hard, I didn't get the promotion, I didn't get the increment. We're always bitching about these kind of things. There is no need to complain. There's no need to whine. The day you understand everything is as per our karma, whatever we are going through, whatever we are facing, whatever we have to go through till this body is alive, it's only our karma. So once you realize that fact, then you're not going to be upset about anything. But let me tell you, it's not an easy acceptance to even say, oh yeah, this is because of my karma. People don't do that. They will always think, God, why is this happening to me? It's happening because of your karma. Accept that. But this acceptance doesn't come into a human being. So remember that when you go and worship, with such faith, worships that particular deity, whoever the deity is, and obtains through that deity without a doubt, you will definitely get what you ask for. His desired enjoyments as verily ordained by me. You will get that, whatever is your desired enjoyments, which is very much approved by Lord Sri Krishna himself. The fruit gained by these people of small understanding. Very interesting. What is the word Lord is using? The fruits gained by these people of small understanding, however, is perishable. The fruit is anyway perishable. The worshippers of gods, that is the small god, which is God, attains the gods. That is, you end up attaining that deity only. Like I said, you can't attain the ultimate here. Whereas my devotees, howsoever they worship me, eventually come to me and me alone. How beautiful is that? What is he saying? My devotees, howsoever they worship me, eventually come to me and me alone. No matter in what capacity they worship me, they will come to me and me alone. That is what it is. But rest of the entire people out there who are going and praying to all of these deities, they will only get that gods. They will only reach the God's heaven. You can't attain Lord Sri Krishna. No way. He's very clear here. And what is he calling such people? People with small understanding. Let me read this verse once again for you to understand. The fruits gained by these people of small understanding, however, is perishable. However, they are perishable. You know why? Because it's a momentary thing. You go to Tirupati Balaji. Why do everybody want to go there? Because they want something. And he also bestows you. Remember, you see, even Sai Baba, no matter wherever you go to India, north, south, east, west, everybody knows Sai Baba. And there is n number of temples, Sai Baba temples in India. There is not a place where you can't find a Sai Baba temple. It is like, I will always make this joke, it's like the Maruti service station. The Maruti Suzuki, India's the best-selling cars for Indian roads, which is something even I would like to, say that, because they have a service station. No matter where you are in India, you can go in the rural part of India as well. You will still find a service station. That's how they have penetrated the Indian market. Likewise, Sai Baba's temple is there all over India. Everybody knows Shirdi Sai Baba. And why do they know him? Because he gives, and people go to him for getting their desires fulfilled. So here God is saying, such people whose desires have been fulfilled, their fruits, they have gained the fruits, and these people are called by Lord Shri Krishna as people with small understanding. And what happens to them? They eventually perish. But he says, the devotees, howsoever they worship me, the devotees, howsoever they worship me, eventually will come to me and me alone. You can worship Lord Shri Krishna in any form, as a child, as a beloved, as a friend, whatever way you worship Lord Shri Krishna, no matter in whichever way, however you worship him, you will eventually come to him and him alone. That is what he's saying here. And he is saying this. It's not said by anybody else. But you know what? Not everybody believes in Lord Shri Krishna. Because though he's telling here, I give, he's not going to directly give. But if you go and through other deities, when you ask them, at the end of the day, the ultimate sanction comes from the super boss alone, right? See, it's like a chairman of the company. Now, if he doesn't sign off, then nothing moves. So the CEO can only execute it. And then he doesn't execute. He executes. He approves it. Once the super boss approves it, he approves it, and then he has all the department heads who, to whoever those people are going, they will go and approve it. So they get the budget sanctions. It's like that. So here also, at the end of the day, the ultimate sanctioning authority is Lord Shri Krishna. But it is not directly coming from him. It is coming from the deities. There are department heads under his under his organization, and these department heads take care of it. The Lord is not directly involved, and he's not even concerned with your ask. But what is he saying? Whoever you worship, whether you worship Balaji, you worship Lakshmi, you worship Ganesha, you worship Sai Baba, whatever that you have asked, you're anyways going to get it. And once you get, then what happens? You're going to anyway perish, and you're going to be bound, and you will only attain. So he's saying the worshippers of gods attain gods. So whoever you worship, you will attain that. If you worship Sai Baba, you will go to Sai Baba. You worship Balaji, you will go to Balaji. You worship Ganesha, you go to Ganesha. So whatever is your ishta, the deities with, you worship with faith, you will attain them alone. But he's saying something only, whereas my devotees, only his Lord's devotees, howsoever they worship me, eventually will come to me and me alone. Howsoever they worship Lord Shri Krishna, they will anyways come to him. So worship the divine Lord. Don't fall prey to these, in the via medias. Don't ask. There is nothing to, ask and you get it. But if you get it, you don't know what you're getting into. You're getting into a karmic debt. So don't get into that. Not knowing my supreme nature, which is unsurpassable and undecaying, the ignorant persons regard me, who am the supreme spirit beyond the reach of mind and senses, and the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss, to have assumed a finite form through birth as an ordinary human being. Oh my God, this is a very, very powerful lesson. And this is very interesting because the Lord, makes you live in that illusion. If you don't have that faith, you can't ever understand the divine Lord. You will actually think him as an ordinary human being by birth. Why does that happen? Now he's saying, not knowing my supreme nature. So what is the supreme nature of Lord Shri Krishna? It is unsurpassable, beyond anyone's, you can't even go beyond that. It is unsurpassable. And undecaying means what? It doesn't perish. There's no decay. It's like we say, no, if your body is born, you're going to, have a birth, then you're going to die, and then it gets decayed. Here, undecaying, it doesn't perish, it doesn't decay, it doesn't get spoiled, if I have to say. It's undecaying, it's eternal. The ignorant persons who, he's very clear, the ignorant persons who have no idea, no knowledge, nothing, regard me, he's very clear, regard me means Lord Shri Krishna, who I am. He is the Supreme Spirit. The Lord is saying, I am the Supreme Spirit beyond the reach of mind and senses. You can't use your mind and senses to understand this Supreme Spirit. So what is he saying? It is beyond the reach of mind and senses. He is the Supreme Spirit. He is eternal. He is the ultimate and the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss. Means Sat Chit Anand. He is always living in the Satchidanand state. That is the state. So when you realize, when you attain God's realization, that is the state you will be in. Sat Chit Anand, Satchidanand, truth, knowledge and bliss. To have assumed, so these people think that the Lord has assumed a finite form through birth as an ordinary human being. Take the case. When the Lord was taken to Mathura, from Mathura to Vrindavan, when Yashoda Maya, she would love the Lord. She made Lord Shri Krishna, of course she understood him as her son, but she couldn't recognize the Supreme Spirit. But she was his mother, she was devotee, she adored Lord Shri Krishna, she loved him, but she's not ignorant, okay? But I'm just saying, she's a devotee of the Divine Lord. But what she couldn't understand is that he's not an ordinary person there. For Yashoda Maya, Bal Gopal is her son. You can call him Laddu Gopal, you can call him Kanaya, so beautiful names of Lord Shri Krishna. He was always mischievous, but he gives his mother a beautiful experience. This is what the Lord does to his true devotees, okay? Here Yashoda Maya is taking care of him, and when he eats the mud and his mother says, open your mouth, he says, no ma, I have not eaten the mud. And his mother says, don't lie. Are you not lying? Open your mouth. When he opens the mouth, he sees the entire universe. She sees the entire universe in Lord Shri Krishna's. But what is that glimpse? That is an experience to tell her who he is. But what happens after the small experience, he again wails her off in the Maya. Maya completely covers. So she doesn't understand what had just happened. She thinks something happened. Oh, is it an illusion, or is it a hallucination? That is what she tries to think. But the Lord gave her an experience of who he is, that Supreme Spirit beyond the reach of the mind and the senses, and the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss. She saw the entire universe in his mouth. What does that tell? But can you understand these things? No, you can't. Why? Because that understanding the Divine Lord doesn't give. But she is a devotee of the Divine Lord. So she is anyway going to reach him. It doesn't mean she's not an ignorant. I wouldn't call her an ignorant person, because otherwise Lord Shri Krishna would never be with her. But here the ignorant person who I'm talking about are the ordinary mortals in the world who pray other deities and regard Lord Shri Krishna as to be an ordinary human being. And that is the problem. Even when they, though you're told, no, this is Lord Shri Krishna, this is who he is, people have a difficulty in accepting. Why? Because they have not experienced. And the Lord doesn't give that experience to everybody. Till you're not the highest devotee of the Lord, you don't get that experience. Because in case of Lord Shri Krishna, you need to understand one very important thing. He sees how much do you seek him, or you're seeking his world called Maya. Are you seeking Maya? Then he'll say, go and ask any god that you think will give you. I am the one who's at the end of the day sanctioning everything. You will anyways get it. But please remember, you will only be stuck up in that zone. You will attain either Balaji's heaven, you will attain Sai Baba's heaven, whosoever heavens you will attain. You will never come to me. He is very clear. But if you have to be the true devotees, you will come to me anyways. But first you have to become a real devotee. Not just saying, okay, not just saying I have faith in you. That doesn't work. How much do you really seek the divine Lord? Are you even following his path? People go and follow all the rituals. He's telling here, don't do this. The moment you follow these rituals, you're going to go and end up in all this God's heaven, and you're bound by the karma. Nobody can save you then. People, even after being told, do not listen. You know why? Because of this ignorance in them. And then what happens? He's saying, I am the Supreme Spirit beyond the reach of mind and senses, and the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss. To have assumed a finite form through birth as an ordinary human being. Finite form through birth as an ordinary human being? No, he is not. That is how he appears to those who think he is not Lord Shri Krishna. You live in that veil called Maya, which is the Lord's Maya alone. So he's veiled you all. Why? Because you need to first seek. The most important word here is seek. How much do you have devotion for the divine Lord? How much faith do you have? How much are you seeking? Till you don't seek, you don't get. That is what Lord Shri Krishna is all about. But everybody will go to this temple. Why? Because all the glamour, glitz, all that is there. But when it's coming to Lord Shri Krishna, people don't believe. And he loves to test everybody. Please remember, he'll always test your deservability. And he himself is not directly going to give you. When he gives you, there is no karma accruing to you. Please remember, he only gives his devotees after they stand their deservability. But otherwise, what has he said? He said, you get the fruits that you seek from the deity, obtains through that deity without doubt his desired enjoyments as verily ordained by me. Who ordains it? The Lord is only the one who ordains it. He's the one who at the end of the day, the ultimate sanction has to come from him. Nobody else can give you without his permission. But he is not going to directly give you. It is going to be through the deities. But to his devotees, he himself will bless. But to get that, you have to earn it. You have to show how much you seek him. It's not the other way around. And don't ever think he's some ordinary human being. Please remember, he is anyways going to show how ordinary he is. He doesn't want the world to know him. And only those who have to know him will know him with his grace alone, not otherwise. So let us continue. Okay, we are close to our time. So let us finish this one small verse. Not knowing my supreme nature, unsurpassable and decaying. Of course, I have done this. Just recap. The ignorant persons regard me, who I am, the supreme spirit, beyond the reach of mind and senses, and the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss, to have assumed a finite form through birth as an ordinary human being. So, to summarize the whole thing here, please remember, don't ask for things. Like I said, the more you have desires, the more you're going to fall, because you're going to go to the deities and get stuck over there in a karmic debt throughout your lifetimes, eternity, till the time you don't redeem yourself. But when you don't seek and just surrender and only seek the divine Lord, he will anyways give you what that you have to get. So don't keep asking. The more you ask, the more you are in trouble. So you know now where the entire world stands, and which is what he has explained, and where his very few devotees stand. And only his devotees any which way come to him. That is what he has himself said. So understand this truth and seek the divine Lord. Don't keep going and asking for your desires. You're not going to go anywhere. And you will have to be in that chakra view, which is getting stuck in that cobweb of worldly existence, the cycle of birth and death. So with that, we will stop here. We'll continue from the next verse in our next satsang. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shri Pad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunath Natha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum.